the support they're supposed to give. Instead, they come out to criticize what the youth do to be able to advocate for change. So what are your comments on that as a religious leader? Do you think the church and religious leaders are doing the most to support the youth and women in these fights for inclusion and other things? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, moderator, and other speakers, the previous ones, on this subject matter of the youth and women. As a pastor, I'm a pastor. I've pastored for 7 years, and I have a bachelor's degree in theology. So I'm someone who let me begin this way, that we should ask ourselves a question. Like at independence, how were youths participating in politics? That's the question. And the question is, were they participating? And the answer is yes. Then after independence, what happened? Then currently, what is the participation of youths in today's politics? Then the question that you've asked me as a religious leader, so now I'm handicapped, I cannot go to that. Let me just speak about the religious way. Is that the thing is, what is the religion playing to youths and women towards politics? And when we look at the state, for example, Uganda, when we look at the churches around, are churches advocating for youth and women to join politics? And the answer is no. Why? It is because when we look at even the people who are leading these churches are uneducated. Not educated in the sense of having bachelors. I would love to ask a question. Which Catholic church has a priest who is not educated? But when you look at most of these born-again churches per se, and some other sects, they have people who just wake up one day. Last year, I had that in the video on television who was saying that it's Jesus from Nakaseka. He's the Son of God. So there are many pastors who wake up one day, they're not even call them pastors. There are many people who wake up one day and they say, the impositors, that they are pastors. To be a pastor, you are supposed to go to school and study. Because when you look at the Bible, many people studied in the Bible to become leaders. So the question is, ignorance of these church leaders. There is a church where I grew from, I will not mention the name, and as a young man, when I was at Chambogo, pursuing a bachelor's in education, we were supposed to stay at church. And now the churches have not empowered these young men and women to participate in politics. Many churches, people, the young men and women, they just wake up one day, they just wake up every day, they're mopping churches, they're putting up chairs. But now the question comes, we have many people in this country who have a lot of resources. Have they even put up any hands-on skills institution to empower these young men and women to go and participate in politics? And now that the answer becomes a no. So the question is, that are the pastors empowering these youths to make sure that they're responsible citizens to participate in politics? Then even point to, what is the stake, what is the take of pastors or religious leaders towards politics? And now when you look at Uganda, most pastors, they support the ruling party. Why? Because they want a presidential handshake and a certain something. And for them that means in that church you will not support any other political party. So now, that means it is that we pastors or religious leaders, we're not doing our ethical standards. That we don't promote democracy in our churches. We don't promote politics, people to participate in politics. We suppress them because we want to be seen somewhere. But when you look at the history of Uganda, many religious leaders participated in politics. So the answer is, my moderator, is that churches have not done their responsibilities, the religious leaders, of empowering the youths to go and participate in politics. And me, my take is, I support politics, regardless of being a pastor. But I support politics in this perspective, that there is no youth or woman who will participate in politics if it's not empowered. Then that means we are going to join politics. When you ask the young men in this room who wants to join the NRM, is because they will tell you, I'm in FDC, I'm in the NOP, because there is no money. But if I go to NRM, they're going to give me money. And that is a motivation. And something has come to church. That we tell people, if maybe they can join NRM, because pastors are benefiting from there. So The thing is, churches have not done their responsibilities.
Right, thank you so much. Tracy would like to comment on the same.
Thank you very much. I know it will be not sad, but I think that church is one of those tools that has been used to disempower women and the general populace. And it really pains me because what the church does, or what religion does, is to put you in a certain cage of fronting integrity, decorum, things that put you at an angle that if you are pressed, you're not supposed to come out and do anything that to them they suppose is integrity, to them they suppose is decorum. You all know that when you get married in church, for example, maybe your weddings and etc., the Bible will tell you, oh, dear ones, until death does your part. Do not. And you're supposed to stay in that marriage, my friend. Come what may. So when you go home, when you get married, you're in that marriage alone. The church never comes to ask, how is it going? Are you facing challenges? Can we help here and there? Can we be part of maybe mentorship? Can we be part of solving maybe problems that you're facing in your marriage? All the church will say, if you are hit until you die and you decide to leave your marriage, is, this one has broken the vows. As long as you're married, you're supposed to die in that marriage. And I think it misses out a point on, how about that discrimination? How about the torture and suffering? That because you marry someone with love, but time changes. There are those that have been lucky enough to proceed in that manner, and we thank God for them. But there are those that later things change and you can never understand what is going on. But all the church tells you is stay in that marriage. So you're forced to stay in that marriage because of, again, the culture and how it plays in society. That your family is going to be like, you wedded in church, you should stay in that marriage, for example. Don't leave. Even us, things were not easy. I would have left your father. But you see, I stayed there for the case of my children. And in that way, it still normalizes that violence can still be acceptable in some instances. We have not had church come out strongly and talk on these issues. They only play the massaging role and never get down to know what is actually happening. It is very sad. And when you see them on TVs, church so-and-so, church so-and-so, pastor so-and-so, reverend so-and-so, it is very worrying. It is very worrying, my brother Samuel. So you as a pastor, you have a role to do in your church. So much to do. He said, in Uganda, all bishops are given cards by the president. Yes. Isn't that church doing politics? Politics. It is. But politics pulls advantage to the one who has power. And it has forgotten us without power from the villages that go to that church every day to pay, to contribute, to pay tithe, to pay what? When some churches maybe put coins, they'll be like, no. This year we want to finish the bishops' house, the building of the red one, the building of everyone. Please, people, let's at least contribute 1K and above. For us, it is worse that now we have family visits. But the family visits are not entirely to teach you. The family visits are entirely invite your neighbors, let's collect some money and build this and that. Isn't the church the one supposed to be spearheading factors that this money we are getting, how about we take it to a baby's home? How about we pay for someone's daughter who is doing this and that? It is not good to see them just on TVs and talking about, hey, you see, I know one pastor, I will not mention their name. I think either they have deviated from their role or wherever they go, they have three things they talk about. Professor Nawango of Makerere and how they don't like him. The other one is how women. I think that man doesn't like women. Like you can literally cram what he's going to speak. The other one I will not mention. But it is very sad. I've not had him table a solution. Who just come and abuse a whole vice chancellor of a university and how he doesn't like the university. But can we be part of the solution as pastors? My pastor. My pastor.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I think many of you have comments. I'll go please. Then Miriam, then Linda, and then we shall conclude with our pastor.
Thank you so much for that. I'm a Christian. Okay, I'm a feminist and Christian. They say you cannot be good at both. I try to be a good Christian. For example, I don't good. So I can say I try, though I broke so many other commandments. But I've always wanted this opportunity, to speak about the church, especially in line with protests. The little that I've known from Sunday school is, as a Christian, you're supposed to emulate Christ. Yeah. And you people, Christ is a diehard protester. And let me tell you this, his mere existence in the Bible, he came to die to save a certain group of people. That in and of itself is protesting. That is resistance, you understand? He gave his life. And you see, they don't talk about this, but that is it. These are the politics of the Bible. There was no Museveni, there was no Ruto that day, but there were Pharisees who were as bad as Ruto, as bad as Museveni. There were tax collectors who were as bad as these leaders we talk about. And Jesus called them out. He called them out on a daily basis. It was his day-to-day activity, wherever he went, to call out these people and show that they were wrong. And he just did not end on non-violence resistance. Jesus was a violent resistor. I don't know if you've read that story where he beat up people who were selling stuff in the temple. You get? So that excuse that our religious leaders use, like we do not do politics. No. Follow Jesus. I'm a Christian. I do not know about the Quran, but I will speak because I'm always waiting for this opportunity. Jesus was a protester, a violent protester and a non-violent protester at it. And he paid the greatest price that you can pay for the change you believe in. And that is dying on the cross. So I really think that the whole conversation of trying to separate politics from religion is not true. Especially when you're going to come on that very pulpit and speak against people trying to do something about it. So your silence is a problem, but also talking down, to people or against people that are trying to do something is also not okay.
Thank you so much,
I think I should be a pastor now.